Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial where I will show you how to build this massive castle in Minecraft or things like it. So there are loads of parts to the tutorial, so I suggest you use the timestamps if you want certain parts of the castle like the towers or the walls or say the siege machines, etc. But we're going to start now with the walls. So guys, this is one of my designs for walls, and I think it is very cool. So it is only 3 blocks wide, but of course if you want it thicker, you can just make it wider. It's very simple. Anyway, so let's look at this design, because what we have here is a load of stairs, 3 blocks of normal blocks above that, and then you have this alternating pattern between stairs and blocks. And then you have the same, or the sort of opposite above. Now what we then have is 2 sets of stairs and a slab on top for this bit and 1 stair here. Now this is I'd say fairly simple, but the main complex part of it is the texturing. And if you don't really know how to do texturing, you can always watch my whole tutorial on texturing and gradients, but I'll just quickly go through it. Basically what I do is I usually build sort of L shapes of blocks and then gradually replace parts of the whole wall with those sort of L shapes until it's all fully like mixed up, and you end up having this really cool effect, and I mean it's really nice. Also, if you want to do a gradient, you can always go from like say deep slate up to like andesite at the top, so this design can be very easily adapted. Now what we have over here is a sort of covered wall. So we have the same thing, but we have this little roof over the top. So let's just look at one of the sections above this wall. So what we have is a stripped mangrove log, mangrove stairs, mangrove trapdoor, and then mangrove planks, and then a mangrove fence. On this bit we have a mangrove slab, a mangrove block, but that was obviously, I built that out of slabs, mangrove stairs and mangrove planks, and then we have a mangrove fence. And on the inside we just have a load of mangrove planks at this level, so then it gives it a really nice effect. If you didn't follow that, you can always pause the video and look at the design in more detail. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to look at towers. So we've got 2 main types of tower. We've got square and we've got circular. So let's start with the square, because this one is a lot easier. Now what we have here is just a square. It's 15 blocks wide as shown by this, and then we have these really nice pillars in the corner, and this is what you do if the terrain isn't completely flat with the pillars. But anyway, the pillar design, what we have is this. So we're going to do that, have some stone brick wall, and we're going to have another polished andesite, and then we're going to have a load of andesite going up and a load of andesite wall going up like this. And that is the basic design of the pillar, and then it goes up as far as you want the tower to go, and then you have this sort of rounded off section at the top, which is like this. And we basically have the classic bottom of it that we used previously, and then we have polished andesite slab in the corner, polished andesite stairs on the sort of center outside, and then polished andesite slab. You can just do that because that's cheaper, and I always like making builds cheaper because if you're doing it in survival, it's easier to do, and I like doing this in creative because it's a good habit. But anyway, we're going to look at the main structure of this, because what we have here are some windows, and what we do to make these is, well, I'm just going to show very quickly here, but I'm going to delete it afterwards because I mean I don't want it to stay here. So we have stair and then slabs either side. We'll get some andesite wall like so, and then we put some dark oak fence, or you could put some glass if you prefer glass. And then we have the same on the other side, but I'm just going to quickly replace this back and remove it. So that's what we have on every single window here. And if you're in creative, you can just do /clone, or if you're using Word Edit, you can do a load of / copy and / paste. So for this doorway, we have polished andesite, then 3 lots of andesite wall, then we have a polished andesite and polished andesite slabs going up like this. You can just use polished andesite slabs for everything, given that we're going to be using a lot of them. And then you go back down on the other side, and that is something that we also repeat on the inside, but I've also done this on every single side of the tower, like so, but I don't have this on the inside. It's just to add a little bit of extra depth. Now, I'd suggest actually mixing up some of these windows, possibly not having the same amount of windows on each level, because that adds extra depth as well. Or you could even add empty ones, etc. But anyway, let's look inside, because we have this really cool stair design. And this is spiral staircase, of course, but it's slightly different from a normal spiral staircase like that, because the usual design you'd quite often have, let's just use the mangrove planks like this for the centre, which you wouldn't do, but the usual design you might do is this, and like that. But the main issue with this is that the diagonal bits, well, the diagonal makes it longer anyway. So what I do is I do that on like the centre section, and then have this, so therefore the diagonal bits are evened out in length with the actual centre bit. Because, I mean, that's really important to actually make it seem more circular, and this is the way to do it. So anyway, we also have torches on the pillar, and we have them just above the 1.5 blocks, and this keeps going up on each floor, and we'll just quickly run up all the way to the top. But anyway, we're at the top, where we have this really nice design for the sort of sticky out bit. I still don't really know what this is called. I probably knew it at one point. But what we have here is one andesite stair, or polished andesite stair, sticking out like this. This is in line with the windows that we have here. So the centre point of this is there. And then we have a polished stair sticking out on the other side. Then what we have here is polished andesite slab, polished andesite. Well, we have 2 slabs or a whole block and then another slab, and this gives it a really nice effect. Now with all of this, you can do this on all of the sides. Now you have to make sure actually before you've built your tower that you are actually making it a 1 block center if you want this to work well. But anyway, that is the basic build for that, although we're going to look at the flag very quickly, because what we have here, well, I mean, it's hard to explain really with flags, because what you want is the wall to go round part of the pole, and then you can have it just sort of, it has to go a bit random and eventually split apart if you're wanting a good medieval flag. You can always have it staying together, but you want to vary the sort of height of it and the direction, so you can like make it separate like that. And I mean, you can also have these dark oak trapdoors round the pole like that to sort of give it an extra bit of stability around it. So what we could do is we could have this and then cover that with dark oak trapdoors, and then like that, and that makes it look even cooler. But yeah, that is the flag. I mean, you might want to just copy this design if you're not confident just trying to do it, but I mean, this is one of the more complex parts of building a castle. Anyway, we've done the square tower, let's look at circular ones. So just over here, we have 2 parts of the tower. We have one part and we have one part with a cover at the top. But let's look at the basic design of a circular tower, because we've got 3 circles here, which I would suggest if you're wanting to build a tower. So this one is 5, 2, 1, 2, 5, and it goes round like that all the way. This one is 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and we have a 3, 1, 3. Now this one is good if you want a large tower, but this one is good if you want a sort of more circular tower, because this is more circular than that. And then this is perfect for a little turret, or maybe a turret on top of a tower, or just a small tower in general. But anyway, we're going to be using this one. So over here, what we have is we have windows all the way round, and I mean, we've got the same design of window here as we did previously, but we also have this one, which is just basically 2 andesite stairs going like that, and andesite wall going up like that, with polished andesite stairs like that. And then you have the same on the inside, and then you have a sort of pole of dark oak fence. Now if you did want to do glass, this sort of slightly works better, I think, for this design. You can either do a glass pane, which makes it join up like that, which yeah, joins up to the sides nicely, or you could do a glass block, which also works quite nicely like so. But I mean, if you want to stick to the classic dark oak fence design, you can do that. Now at the bottom here we have the same sort of thing as we did on the other tower, with the same sort of entrance, and it's the same thing, though we do have it repeating all the way around. So with this one we have a polished andesite block, and then we have some andesite wall going down from it with another polished andesite block at the bottom, but we have 2 sets of polished andesite slabs between them, because it makes it the same length, and then you also have these two slabs between to join them up nicely. Now what we do is we gradually go all the way up to the top, and of course this has texturing, the previous one had texturing as well, because it makes it look better. And what we have here is, if your windows don't perfectly line up with the height of the tower, you can do something like this to join it up to the top nicely. And you can copy this design if you want by pausing the video. And we have the same sort of flag. It's exactly the same flag design because I couldn't be bothered to try and make a new one. But that is basically this tower. Though let's look inside very, very quickly, because what we do have, which is slightly different, is we have a different design of staircase. We in here have it's actually the same level with the torches, which is basically the same as the previous thing, but yeah, it's ever so slightly different. So that is the circular tower, but we're going to look at the circular tower with a covering. So I mean, I can't really describe how to build all of this. What you want is a sort of conical shape, but you probably also want to access like the side so you can shoot at attackers and that sort of thing. What you want is some sort of conical shape, or you can have a slightly rounded conical shape, which I've done here, which looks really, really cool. But there we go, that's practically it for it. I mean, it's very complex. If you want to copy this exact design, just pause the video and copy it manually. But yeah, that is basically these two towers. Now we're going to look at siege machines. So we're back in my adventure map, and we're going to look at a trebuchet, because I mean, this is really, really cool. Great sort of detail. It's better than a catapult. Don't ever do catapults if you're doing medieval. I mean, do trebuchets, they look way cooler. Also, I'm not showing catapults here. I'm only going to do trebuchets, ballistas, and a sort of mortar cannon. So what we have here is a load of 3 stairs going up to here, where we have this sort of 1 block, 1 stair sort of shape going up to here. Now I have used some custom heads. You can do that if you're using creative or you're in survival, but you've got like a plugin or something which does heads, like Head Database for example. And what you want is, you want this to go up like that, another sort of stair section, and then have a fence from that going down, which looks like a rope, to basically some cobblestone in a sort of bucket. And what you then want is, on the other end, a massive weight, because this is what makes the whole ballista work. I copied this from an image, but you sort of want a massive weight at the bottom. I don't really know exactly how a ballista works, but I did my best with the building of it. So yeah, this trebuchet design, it's fairly simple, but if you're finding it hard to follow, you can always pause the video and copy it from there. I'm just going to give you multiple angles in case you want to do that. So anyway, we've done that. We're going to very quickly look at a small cannon, because I just remembered I had done such things. So what you want to do is get some chiseled polished blackstone, or just some polished blackstone, 2 sets of blackstone, and then another chiseled polished blackstone. And then if you have a sort of cannon head, well, a custom head, then you can put that on the end, or you can just leave it like that. That looks fine anyway. Then you want a black candle on the top as the fuse, and then putting plenty of barrels next to them, looks like they're barrels of gunpowder, etc. You can also have this little stand for it using some stone stairs. Anyway, let's move on to ballistas, because these are very, very cool. Look over here. I mean, I also copied this from an image, but basically what you want, I mean, these are way more complex, but they're basically massive crossbows. So what you want is some ladder here with some rails connected to it, and this is sort of a rope which goes round this sort of wheel. Well, this is supposed to be a wheel, and this will sort of pull the whole thing back. You've got these polished deep slate slabs here all joined together, and you've got this chain and a player head on the end, and that is the sort of bolt that it would have. Now the rest of this, we've got a load of alternating fences like that going diagonally, and then we've got this sort of curved section which you can copy from if you pause the video, because well, it's 1 2 3 1 3 2 1 in shape, And then also what we have here is the stand for it. So what we have is some spruce stairs joining up onto here, where we then have this all sort of above the ground. We don't want it connected down to there unless you really want to do that. And you have this sort of bit where it can swivel on and turn round. And you can also add a load of stone buttons around it for extra detail, like all the sort of nails which go into it. And that's basically it. You also have these trapdoors round like this in a sort of also sort of wheel shape. And that is sort of what you can do for a ballista. Now you can also have these on these sort of towers that I've built here because it makes it look cooler. Or you can have it on the top of one of these massive sort of keep towers that I've got over here. And you can have, it does look just really, really cool, if I do say so myself. But what we're going to now look at is massive mortar cannon that I've built over here. Now, of course, you might just think I've copied this from Clash of Clans. I sort of have the mortar. But if you want to build this sort of cannon, you can have a sort of fuse which goes down to here, which you'd light. I've sort of built a massive crane which would presumably carry up the massive cannonballs to put in. And, I mean, it's sort of, you sort of have to make a diagonal shape, or you could have it straight up and then have a rim at the top and then have a stand for it. I've also, in this sort of siege machine area, added a load of cogs which would presumably turn these all round. And I mean, that's a really cool design. You can do that if you want to, if you're wanting to have some sort of siege machine platform. But yeah, that is basically it for all the siege machines that I have here. If you want to copy any of the designs and you're finding it hard to follow, you can always pause the video. But yeah, that's how to build a massive castle like this. And of course, actually, if you want any sort of different shaped towers, you could have always sort of multiple circles joined together like I've done here. Or if you're wanting some other shapes like hexagons or that sort of thing, or nonagons, and you're not really sure how to do that because, yeah, there have been castles which have 9-sided towers. I also have a tutorial where I showed you how to build the different shapes in Minecraft, which will be in the link in the description. So thank you very much for watching and happy building.